back everyone again. Today I'm going to have a look at this. It's a bobber which I bought off eBay quite a few months ago. Now I've never had a bike like this before. It's a hardtail bobber style. The engine in it, it's a Suzuki GS425 engine. Now the bike itself, I'm going to call it Broom, because I don't think there's one part of it which is original to the logbook. The frame's been changed. It may even be a total new change. Wheels aren't original. The engine should be a JS400 and it's a 425. So I don't think there's anything which is actually original compared with the logbook, but never mind. So that's where it gets its name from, Broom. Now, one thing it's got these straight through pipes. They were wrapped in heat, it's sort of a heat resistant fiberglass wrap, but when I'm working on it, it leaves these little splinters, sharp as hell, get in your hands and your arms, and so I've took it off for now. And as you can see, this is the reason why a lot of people use the exhaust wrap, is because it doesn't look so nice with all the joins in it. Back one's not bad, could do a little cleaning up. This one here is not very good. There's a lot of work to do on the bike. One of them is the exhausts, and I don't know whether to make new exhausts or whether just to wrap these ones again. But one thing is, I've started it up. The bike wasn't complete when I got it, but I've just put a few bits and pieces on it. I've got a brake on, I've got a couple of bits of wiring done, just enough to start. I'd put the carbs on, and I wondered why it had a gasket set with it when I bought it, in with a box of bits, and I thought, oh no, is it going to be the engine is worn out, it's knocking like hell, blue smoke coming out the exhausts? But yesterday I fired it up and it fired up pretty easy, and no smoke, no rattles, so I'm really pleased about that. The only thing is that it does have a few little bits of drips of oil, and when I've looked, it seems to be the side casing gaskets have gone, so that must be the reason for the gasket set. So I'm going to try it out on the road later. If there's no problems with the engine, I'm not going to give it a good strip down. It seems to work alright. The only thing I'm going to try it in the street for, make sure the gearbox is alright, make sure the clutch is not slipping. And if that's the case, then, as I say, apart from cleaning the engine up, I'm going to leave it. I don't know whether somebody's overhauled it in the past, might have done, because it's given really good compression and it's running really well. I've put a couple of bolts sticking out of here onto anywhere I can get them, because I don't know where I'm going to put the foot pegs yet. Somebody has changed this frame. I've actually managed to trace who actually built the bike originally, and by the photographs he has on his Facebook page, it was built with a Kawasaki Z750 engine, 4-cylinder air cooled, and somewhere along its life somebody's changed that engine and put this in. It's a nice little bike. It's very small, light, so easy to ride and throw around. This pipe isn't original. It's originally had two down tubes going wrapping around the engine, and it hasn't got that at the minute, and somebody's tried to make a big bracket to fit underneath, which doesn't look very nice. So what I intend to do is grind these plates off, take the pipe out, and then put two pipes on and wrap them around the way they should have. The other unusual thing about this is this back pipe. Normally they come up from the engine tubes up at an angle, and these seem to be straight as if they're like a swing arm. So that's something else which I want to change. So it looks like I'm going to have to do a lot of framework. Now, never done that before, but I've been collecting H girders, U-section, heavy stuff, and I'm intending on building a bike jig. So that'll be one of my other projects. I'm going to build a bike jig, and then I'm going to put this on it to try it out to make sure it's square and to help when I build up the rest of the frame. I've just had a quick try today because as a check, I've checked the wheels, and by putting a spirit level on the back wheel and the front wheel, I noticed Sammy Miller was doing that on a bike which she had, and the difference between the two, if I line up the back one so it's horizontal, when I go up the front one, there's about, I don't know, about 6-8mm gap at the bottom of there. So the two wheels, they must be exactly in line. One of them must be twisted a little bit, so the frame's not exactly straight. So if I build the bike jig, I'll be able to set it up and make sure it's right. Anyway, today I'm going to start the engine because I want to run it in the street, but with these exhaust switches on, we've got no baffles in them at all, just straight through. And to try and take the edge off it a little bit, so I don't annoy the neighbours too much, I wanted a pair of exhausts off a Beetle. Now these, I've managed to borrow these off my nephew. They're tailpipes out of a Beetle. They've got some baffles in them. They've been modified, they've got these like bell mouth sort of ends on them, but hopefully they'll take the edge off the exhaust. So I'm going to try it off the exhaust noise, should I say. I'm going to try it as it is, and I've got a meter here for noise meter for testing how many decibels coming out. So I'm going to do 4 tests. I'm going to try it at tick over, get one reading, try it at, I don't know, try to judge about 3000 revs. There's no rev counter on this. And then I'm going to put these in and do the same, tick over and 3000 revs, and just see the difference out of curiosity. Now it started up pretty well yesterday. I'll see if it'll start up today. Choke on. Now I've just got a battery here, and you'll like me starter solenoid I've got here. Right, so it's quietened it down a little bit. It's went from 95 down to 93, which doesn't seem much, and it's went down from 113 to 110 when it's been revved a little bit. See, it may not seem a lot, but decibels are funny things that, now I'm not too sure about sound, but I know power wise with decibels, 3 dBs is half the power, so 3 dBs at 3000 revs could be half the sound energy, but it's still very loud. These baffles aren't the best. You can get 2 different types. I used to have a kit car before which had a couple of these tailpipes lying around, and I used one on a trials bike before, 4-stroke, but when you look through them, the perforations, they've got a lot of perforations, as you'd expect the original ones you get from the Volkswagen. But if you've got a cheaper one like off eBay and you look through it, it's only got about half the perforations in it, and that's what these have got. So I don't know whether it would be, you'd be able to see that on the video. We'll try, but no, I don't think it's going to have enough light there. But these are like that. They haven't got as many perforations, so they're a little bit louder, but it is making a little bit of a difference, so I'm going to try these when I try it up the street. Right, I've just noticed I've got a little bit of a petrol leak on the tank. I don't know if it's where it's coming from. Something else to sort out. It may just be coming around the tap here, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to give that a try up and down the street and see what it's like. Well, that was a bit of an experience. Seems to be running quite well. Like I suspected earlier, there is some oil leaks which I'm going to have to repair when we change the gaskets. The leak seems to have a little leak in the back of the tank, and it was alright before I started, but one of the floats in the carburettor looks like the needle is jammed. It's dripping out the carb. It's probably been a little bit of muck in the line or the fuel tank which has caused it to block. It rides a little bit different what I'm used to. It's the first time I've rode like hardtail or anything like the bobber. The fork, the rate angle, just been checking it, it's about 35 degrees, so a lot different to what I normally drive, and you can feel it when you're going round the bend slow. You can feel it pushing the handlebars round where you've got to pull them back. Anyway, I was looking, the wheels, it's not riding quite right. You can feel that they're not lined up right, and what I was going to do is a quick check. I've got one of these little angle sort of meters, inclinometer or something, just one that you get off eBay, made in China, and they seem quite good but convenient. You can clamp it on, it's got a magnet in somewhere, yeah, magnet on, so you can clamp it on. The only thing with it is that it's not really, turn the light on, it's not exactly zeroed. You've got to calibrate it yourself. Now, so I was thinking, well, maybe if I get a spirit level, just set the spirit level, put that on and then zero it. Don't know if that's what you're supposed to do with them, but you're relying on the bubble in that. It's not quite so good, the bubble in your spirit level, but I've got this other thing which is like an inclinometer, but it's like a spirit level on the top, but I don't know if you can make it out. It's got 4 little lines as opposed to just the 2, and it's a little bit more accurate. It's an old, made in England, so it's Hilger or Hyler and Watt, and it's got the dial on the end, so it's a bit like a micrometer, how you turn it and it turns it around here. Well, what I've done is I've set that exactly to 0 and put that on my spirit level. Just have a look at you, see what I'm doing. So I'm just putting on the spirit level there, and then I've got a couple of bars and I'm just trying to adjust it to get the bubble so that it's exactly in the right place. Sounds about it. So I've put that on there now. Need to settle. It's reading 0.35 of a degree, so if I reset that now, right, that's it zeroed. So now I can go around and get the light on. I can go around and try to, it's awkward because the light and the zero is in the same place. Right. So if I go around now, I should be able to check the angle of the wheels. Now I know I should really be taking it off the tyre, I mean of the wheel rather than the tyre. So that's showing this one is half a degree to the right at the top. And the back one's showing just 1.5 degrees to the left, so it's about 2 degrees out from front to back. So I'm not too concerned about that because, as I said earlier, I was going to make a chassis jig for it and change the chassis here and the bars underneath, so while I'm doing that I'll be able to get it back in true again. Right, so I think that's it for one day. I think I just need to go around tidying up and start doing a bit of planning for the next job. Well, I hope you all stay safe and I'll see you next time.